At Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont, we believe in spiritual living. Above all else, it is a philosophy that teaches us how to think and not what to think. We invite everyone to practice this philosophy by living in principle. We believe that God is all there is, and each person's relationship to God is a personal one. Every person, place, and thing, and all the space in between is not only an expression of God, but God itself. All love, peace, and beauty that is God exists within each person right now. Together we are all connected as one. Our faith allows us to apply this philosophy to our lives in every moment of every day. As we live in love, we see love revealed and flowing through the world around us. We act as citizens of this spiritual community at all times. This is how we think. We believe in God, we believe in ourselves, and we believe in you because we believe in spiritual living. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont.
Thank you for taking your places. And good morning. It is a good morning, even with that rain that's washing everything that we have, isn't it? So happy Easter, and let's just know that today's the first day of the rest of our lives. I'm Yvonne Fowler. I'm one of the practitioners here, and it's nice to see all you people. And I know there's a lot on Zoom too, so thank you for joining us. And for the people that are here for the first time, we have a little table over here that has some information about who we are and what we're all about. And you're welcome to take that. And then if you'd like to talk with any of us, we're always here for you. Okay. And let's read our vision statement right up here on the board. We can do it together. CSLB is an inclusive and transformative community of spiritual practice. We have lots of things going on since this man has been with us. So we keep on moving, and it's sort of like this. So let me start. Every Thursday at 1 o'clock, from 1 to 2:30, we have a good grief group. And that's for anybody that has any problems, any loneliness, death, divorce, problems with money. You just come and you share your information and you listen. And it's been very helpful for the people that have been here. So please, if you have anything on your heart, please come. And then we're going to have another class, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. And that's going to be starting on April 20th, and that's from 10 to 1 o'clock. And Adrian is going to be teaching that class. So it's one of the foundation classes, too. So if you're interested in, learning more about the philosophy, please come to that class, and we'll give you more information. Okay? Join us on April 7th. And that's for the CSLB Rainbow Alliance Wounds to Wings seminar. And it's by a man that has had a major transformative major transformation, loving without limits. And it's going to be a talk after church. We're going to have lunch between 11:15 and 12, and then we'll have this talk about the transformation from 12 to 1:30, and it's exceptional. So if you can join us Sunday the 7th, that's what we'd like you to do. And then our metaphysical movie is going to be on April 10th. And that's where you come here around 5 o'clock, and we eat. Of course, we eat. And then we see the movie. And I think this week it's Wizard of Oz. And, the way he explains it about the metaphysical meaning of it, it's just so great. So I hope you can come to that too. And that's going to be on April 10th from 5 to 8 p.m. So it'll be food and the movie and then the discussion afterwards. Okay. And the yard sale is coming, okay? April 13th is Friday. We want you to bring in all your slightly used things, and if you will, please bring your clothes on hangers or nicely folded, so we don't have a lot of preparation on Friday. And then it's going to be Saturday and Sunday, and there's a sign-up sheet over here for what hours you can put in, because that's one of our big fundraisers, and usually we make about $1,000, and we'd like to even make more this time, okay? So bring your stuff and buy. That's the thing. Bring your stuff and buy. And I want to remind you that we have all kinds of food in here for the Easter celebration, so please stay for food. Dorothy, do you want to come up? Okay. Okay. Opening video.
This is a sing-along. And if you want to stand up and sing along and join in that energy.
Hopping down
The bunny trail, hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way.
bringing every girl and boy baskets full of Easter joys, things to make your Easter bright and gay.
There you go. Happy
He's got jelly beans for Tommy, colored eggs for Sister Sue. There's an orchid for your mommy and an Easter bonnet too. Oh, here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity, happy Easter day.
Hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way. Happy Easter. Happy Easter. Its way.
Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppin', Easter's on its way. Try to do the things you should. Maybe if you're extra good, he'll roll lots of Easter eggs your way. You wake up on Easter morning and you know that he was there. When you find those chocolate bunnies that he's hiding everywhere.
Whoa.
Oh, here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity, happy Easter day. Hippity hoppity, happy Easter day.
Whoa. All right, give yourselves a hand. That was great. That was great.
Thank you. And now, Dorothy?
Good morning. And welcome again. It's so wonderful to see family here today. What a wonderful reunion. We have a special presentation this morning, and I'd like to ask Rosanna De Leon to please come forward. Yvonne, I need you to help with this. Thank you.
Debbie? Debbie?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Easter in this rainy morning. It is a pleasure to be here again. Each time you see me up here is because there's cha-ching.
Yes.
So I just want to thank you, everyone. And the reason I'm up here is because I have sold a property from one of our members. And each time that happens, the center gets $2,500. So, okay.
Debbie?
here's that. And for those who don't know exactly how the program works, is each time someone is buying or selling or refinancing, if it could be a member from here, it could be a friend of yours, anything related to the center will benefit. So anytime that happens, cha-ching!
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, Rosanna, on behalf of, first, the membership and the Board of Trustees, know that we are so grateful. We are so grateful for this partnership, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
I am grateful to be here. Unfortunately, my husband has a bad cold. He didn't want to
Okay.
keep everybody safe. But
Well-
we are very blessed to be here and to belong to this congregation.
Thank
So
you.
I thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just a reminder that after service, over here on this side of the sanctuary, the practitioners will be available to you if you have anything on your mind and want to talk, and get a 2-minute miracle, okay? A little prayer just to help you out and maybe lighten up your day. So we're going to have the what? I can't hear you.
Song? We're going to music.
Okay, the music?
It is enough to know. It is enough to know. It is enough to know that God is love. It is enough to be here in this majesty. It is enough to be here with God. I rest my weary soul beside these still waters. It is enough to know that I alone can never hope to solve this mystery. It is enough to be. It is enough to know. It is enough to know. It is enough to know that God is love. It is enough to be here in this majesty. It is enough to be here with God. It is enough to know. It is enough to know. It is enough to know that God
God is right here where we are, always and ever. Whether we know it or not, God's there. That's our source. And today, as I light this candle, is for the peace all over this universe, everywhere present, knowing that all are in God's hands. Peace. Peace to all. And right here and right now in the sanctuary and online, as we listen to our message from Reverend Michael, we know that that's for sure. God is with us. And God is in the music. God is in each one of us. God is in the conversation. God is in all that food that's in the other room. God is always with us. We are the hands and the feet of God. We do the action here on earth. And so as we listen to this sermon, we take that into our hearts, and we know that what's being said is said for us, and so it is.
On this rainy Easter Sunday, and coming to the center, I've been here, I think, 12 Sundays now. And as people came in today, I looked around and what I wanted to say, and I said to some people here, we don't do it perfectly at Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont, but we do it from our heart. And I think that's a really good way to bring that love of Easter Day to everyone. And so now everyone here is coming together, our tech team and our board of directors and our ministers and our practitioners and our community is coming together in a whole new way at CSLA. We're creating new events. We're creating connected community. We're creating that consciousness of all as one. And I think the thing I'm beginning to love about ministry, and I need to figure this out before midnight tonight because my third annual minister's report is due by March 31, tonight by midnight. And I usually get it in a month early, and it's like halfway done. And in South Carolina, we went to a conference, and they said that by your third year, you should be moving from the doing of ministry and creating events, right? Creating events and doing things and meeting with the board of directors, you should be moving beyond the doing into that being state of consciousness. For whatever you do, you're coming from that being state of consciousness of love. And I get closer and closer to that every day. The closer I get to this teaching, the closer I come to knowing myself in a new way. In a new depth, I come to a new story in my life. And one of the things that I'm loving about this teaching is as we become present with us and with ourselves, this teaching becomes present in us, and we see life in a whole new way. So driving here today in the rain, my husband's son Ryan is visiting from Chicago, and he's here for the first time today. He saw the first talk I ever gave on a Wednesday night at Seaside. About 5-6 years ago, they let ministerial students give the Wednesday night talk, and he was there for that talk. And so this is the first time he's seeing me really in a pulpit, not as a student, but as a minister. So that's kind of fun. And on the way here, Ryan's in the back seat, and he goes, so you guys, like you were from the 50s. So what was that song from the 50s? You know, the song from the 50s, that Duke. We got Duke Ellington, no. We're trying to find out Duke, what Duke? And finally, Ross goes, Duke of Earl, right? Duke of Earl, Duke of Earl, Duke of Earl. And that has nothing to do with this talk. But it has to do with being present. It has to do with being present with the fun that can be there in the moment, the silliness that can be in the moment. And it does, in a sense, have something to do with the talk, because I was sharing on the way up, on Easter days for 40 years, FTD would ring our doorbell in Connecticut at 7:30 in the morning, and my dad always, 40 years, had orchid for my mom on Easter Sunday, and it was so special for her. And it was so special for him. And 50 years later, it's so special for me that they took the time to celebrate Easter Day in a very special way for themselves. And we always went out to dinner afterwards, always on Easter Sunday, went out to dinner at one of our favorite restaurants. And then the thing we did that I loved the most, and my dad would say, let's go visit the rich people's houses. And so we'd get in the car and we'd drive to, the zip codes that were, $7 million estates and 23 acres in Connecticut and Danbury. And we came back and it was wonderful. It was wonderful driving through those neighborhoods. It was wonderful seeing this opulence. And it was also wonderful coming home to a family in a nice country home, but a family of traditions. A family of traditions. I got up at 4:30 this morning to do some cooking. And I remembered my dad getting up at 4:30 in the morning. The men did the cooking. My mom had 3 sisters, so 4 sisters, and all of their husbands did all of the cooking on the holidays. That was the tradition. My grandfather started. So my dad would get up at 4:30 in the morning to stuff the turkey and get the turkey going. And by the time people arrived at 11 o'clock in the morning and the turkey was done, my dad was napping and sleeping. And I've done this before, and I'm going to do it just to honor my family. We always sang around the table. This was our opening prayer on holidays, and I'm going to kind of sing it for my dad, who I thought of his being up at 4:30 in the morning, cooking turkeys and ham, and my being up at 4:30 in the morning, cooking turkeys and ham and roast beef this morning. And it goes like this. And it uses the word law. Yet in Science of Mind, it uses the word Lord, but we substitute law for Lord. And law is love. So Lord is love, law is love. So we do love. But be present at our table, Lord. Be here and everywhere adored. Thy people bless and grant that we may live in harmony with thee. Amen. Whoa. So what Ryan brought up for me in the Duke of Earl bit was our memories are always with us. Ernest Holmes says they're always with us. They're always present. And we don't want to live in the past. We want to live in the present. And in the present, we want to create our future. And so living in that presence of love, living in that funness and that spontaneity and that goodness of love, I think that's a big part of an exceptional Easter story, is honoring the past, being present now, and knowing there's a greater good right here and now that we're creating that will create our greater good tomorrow. And so our talk title was, it is no longer, but it was, Exceptional Easter Stories. I thought that was pretty good. Until it changed. And what came to me about the change of this title, I didn't change it. It changed me. From the time I started writing this talk to the time I was midway through, the talk changed, and it changed me in a way that I had to change the title. And so I did not change the title changed me, the talk changed me, the writing of the talk changed me, and living this Easter day is changing me. And that's a most excellent Easter story, isn't it? A story about change that changes us. Isn't that a wonderful Easter story? Isn't that the Easter story? And I don't care what you call it. I don't care what faith you're from. We all have stories. We all have faith traditions. And they're all about love and eternality and calling it forth in our life. Different messages, different ways of sharing it, different rituals, yes? Different rituals, but all of us talking about that love and that harmony and that family and that connectivity, and we are family here. And so I think a great Easter story, an exceptional Easter story, is a story that changes us. Change happens. And what matters is how we change within the change. Because how we change within the change determines how we stand up, speak up, and show up within the change within our lives and within the change within the world. How do we stand up? How do we speak up? How do we show up? Change is not about changing the change. This is a big one. I'm changing so I can change the change. Well, good luck with that one. How many of you have tried to change your spouse? Please put the top back on the toothpaste. Please don't squeeze the toothpaste tube. Roll it up from the bottom. Please don't drink out of the milk carton. I'm working on that one. How many of us try and change other people? And this teaching is about changing ourselves by changing our stories. It's not about changing other people by telling them to change their story. That's not the Easter story. The Easter story is a story of Easter glory. The Easter glory of someone who came to realize who he really was beyond the appearances of this world. And so by changing from the traditional Easter story into a more spiritual and truthful Easter glory, and as we allow the talk title to change itself from exceptional Easter stories, if we can have the next title, into exceptional Easter glories, can you begin to feel the difference? Can you begin to see the difference? Can you begin to touch the difference? Can you smell the difference? Can you taste the difference? Can you be the difference? Can you be the difference that makes a difference in this world by standing up and showing up and speaking up? And of moving from the Easter story of heaven and earth, the traditional story of heaven and earth, right? Christ was in human form. Jesus was in human form, but he was also in divine form, and it was that marriage together that the crucifixion was really rebirth. And we come to see the crucifixion really as resurrection in one, into a new story of moving from the human story into the heavenly glory of who we are. We can change from the Easter story of heaven and earth as separate into the Easter glory of heaven and earth as one. That's quite a change of story. Heaven and earth, or heaven and earth as one. You know, that's a small change. But it's a really big change that makes a really big difference. We can move from the Easter story of traditional religion, which insists we believe in somebody else's story. All of the Bibles in the story, they may have happened, they may not have happened, but most of them were written 40 or 50 years after people witnessed Jesus performing miracles, Jesus walking into a town. They were written in memory 40 or 50 years after, and so how good was the recall of the human man that wrote those stories, or the human person? And so the thing about looking at the Bible in a whole new way, when we come to see the Bible in a whole new way, when we can see the Bible of our values and our truths and our beliefs in a whole new way, when we can move from the bi-ness of it into the uniness of it, into the union of it, into the reunion. We are reunioning, we are reuniting, we are reigniting, we are reflaming, we are rebirthing, we are reknowing, we are reconsciousness, we are resowing, we are rebeing the truth of the seeds of the greatness which were planted in us from before time began until the afterness of time ends, and there's no beginning, there's no end in time, and there's no beginning and there's no end in the seed to the greatness that was planted in you from the minute you conceived your own self in thought and you came forth in physical form. Those seeds are within each of us right here and right now. And when we move from the Easter story of crucifixion into the Easter glory, that there were seeds of greatness that crucifixion brought forth in this incredible human being. He was a human being on that cross. He said, "Take this from me, Father. I do not want this. I do not want this." And yet what he didn't want, what he thought he didn't want, became eternal life. And it became the gift of eternal life for all of us to witness. And it's one thing to witness it, and it's another thing to call it forth. And Easter glory is about calling it forth in, as, and through us. Letting it move in, as, and through us in a way it's never moved before. Letting faith deepen us in a way we've never deepened before. Letting Spirit plant our soul so deeply in that fermentation and that fertility of universal love. Of universal love. And so as we move from the Easter story of traditional religion that insists we believe in someone else's experience to the Easter glory of an open at the top spirituality, which invites us to have and believe in our own experiences. Our own experiences. How do I know this stuff worked? Because I experience it. How do I know this stuff worked? Because I experience it more and more every day, more and more in every way. I experience it. I'm not going to argue with my own experience. So I ask you on this Easter day, are you willing to experience moving from the story of your narrative into the glory of an Easter story, by which we change the nature of our prior narrative into the nurture of a new story? Because as we change the nature of our story, the nature of our lives changes accordingly. Small changes in the narrative of our personal story make big differences in the nature of our lives. Ernest Holmes says this. I invite each of us to take a breath. Just feel that breath of life. Isn't it magnificent? Isn't it magnificent that we're here? Isn't it magnificent that we're here on a rainy day? Isn't it magnificent that maybe we didn't want to be here when we showed up anyway? I think that's when magnificence shows up, right? I didn't want to be there anyway. Show up, because that's when magnificence shows up. Because guess what? Magnificence shows up when you show up. Because you're magnificent. You're magnificent. And so Ernest Holmes says this of this magnificence that we are. He says we are in heaven right now. Oh, this is heaven. Field of Dreams, we ran the movie. We're tying everything into a universal theme of unity and oneness and universal unity and knowing who we are and marrying our marriage with our soul and our law and our spirit and our oneness and our goodness and our kindness and that incredible energy that Ernest Holmes talks about as this incredible energy that we are. It is at our command. It is at our beckon. It is at our call. And he invites us to call it in and call it forth and bring it forth and let it live in us through us. In Field of Dreams, one of the baseball players comes back on the field, and he turns to Kevin Costner and he goes, "Is this heaven?" And Kevin Costner goes, "No, it's Iowa." And at the end of the movie, Kevin Costner goes, somebody else asks him, "Is this heaven?" And he goes, "No, this is Iowa." And then he turns back to the camera and he looks at the camera and he goes, "Maybe Iowa is heaven." Maybe this is heaven and earth. Maybe this is heaven and earth. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take this moment. I'll take this presence. I'll take this ever-shifting energy. You know, we're in heaven right now, Ernest Holmes says. And he says this is the meaning not only of life, but it's the meaning of Easter. Ernest further goes on to say, heaven is not a place in the sky where we go when we die. Heaven is a state of consciousness of right here and now. It's a state of consciousness of right here and right now. It's a state of consciousness that Emma Curtis Hopkins talks about as I am that I am. That greatness, those seeds of greatness that I am, 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 that I am. That can almost become a mantra, can't it? That can almost become a chant, can't it? I am that I am that I am. Try that with me. Let's chant that. Let's chant that. Let's take that to chant. I am that I am that I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am that I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am that I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am that I am that I am. One of our tools is chanting. One of our tools is chanting. So he says heaven is not a place where we go when we die. Heaven is a state of consciousness of that I am, that I am, that I am. He further states that heaven is our relationship. How are we doing on this? Hang on. Heaven is our relationship with our microphone, right? Heaven is a state of consciousness of I am, that I am. But he further states, I love this one. I love this one for Easter Day. Heaven is a state of our relationship to God. It's all relationship. What's your relationship to your relationship with you? What's your relationship to your relationship with your partner? What's your relationship to your relationship with co-creativity? What's your relationship to your relationship with work? What's your relationship to your relationship with finances? What's your relationship to your relationship with perfect health? What's your relationship? Heaven on earth is a perfect relationship with knowing that we are the I am, that I am, that I am, that I am, and then that I am There's perfect wholeness, completeness, and oneness. There's no healing to be done, only the revealing of all is one. Ernest Holmes. There's no healing to be done here. There's revealing. The work is revealing. So Ernest Holmes says, nothing keeps us. You got to love this one on Easter Day, right? You got to love this on any day. I love this teaching on Easter Day because it helps me find my way. But my change of story is that I love this teaching every day. And every day this teaching loves me. Don't just love this teaching on Easter Day. Love this teaching every day. Love this teaching every day. He says, nothing keeps us from the eternal existence of infinite intelligence, but the relationship of our thoughts to our lives. Nothing keeps us from this infinite intelligence of all of the possibilities of dreams come true, but our relationship of thoughts to our lives. So can I have an amen on that? Amen. Can I have an A woman on that? A woman. And can I have an A plus on that? A plus. All right, I'll take it. So, this crowd, some crowds are tougher than others. And the crowds that are tougher sometimes remind, when I look at people who play the Roxy. And the one thing about playing the Roxy, I had friends who played the Roxy in LA. And the one thing that they told me when they came off stage, shaking and trembling and sweating, the 3 pounds of weight loss from the sweat they lost. But the one thing they told me was that the playing the Roxy gives you the moxie. It gives you the moxie to be the proxy for your own life. One of my friends told me that. He said, playing the Roxy gives you the moxie for the proxy of your own life. It gives you the moxie to be the proxy of being the change within the change that changes your life and the life of others. Have you noticed as your life changes, everything changes around you? Friends fall away, new friends come in. Everything falls away. I was having an issue in ministry. I'm still having an issue in ministry, but I'm working through it. I'm hanging with it. I'm not letting go of it. It's not letting go of me. That's really obvious. I said to Ross, let's let go of all of this. He said, it's not going to let go of you. It's not going to let go of you. It's not going to let go of me. Thank you. As we change our lives, the lives of others around us change. What a gift. What a reason to do the work. What a reason to be present. And isn't that the Easter story? Isn't that the Easter glory of the fairy tale of Humpty Dumpty? The Easter tale of Humpty Dumpty. So we're looking at things in a new way. I like to call it fractured fairy tale. So we're fracturing this fairy tale. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Why? Why couldn't all the king's horses and all the king's resources and all the king's money and all the king's men put Humpty together again? Because we can only put ourselves together again from the inside out. Not from the outside in. That's the tough nugget of this teaching. You got to do the work yourself. But we're here to help you do the work. We're here to help bring forth spiritual practices. We're here to bring forth chanting. We're here to bring forth messages. We're here to bring forth consciousness. We're here to bring forth prosperity. We're here to bring forth love. And we don't care if it's raining or if it's I've been here 3 months, and I've been here when there was ice on the ground and when there's rain on the ground. Once in a while there's sun out. You know what? Stop looking to the weather as to whether you show up or not. Show up where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be here today. I'm supposed to be here today. We can't put ourselves together from the outside in. The work is from the inside out. And here's a story about inside out that relates to relationship of our outer appearance to our inner world. And we have our next slide. Perfect. Thank you, Chuck. Mark Twain said, clothes make the man because no one takes a naked person seriously. But you know what it also refers to is that our appearance on the outside is a reflection of our state of consciousness on the inside. Albert Einstein, sorry for my mom. My mom, folks had a summer cottage in Southold, Long Island. Albert Einstein spent the summer of 1935-36 in Southold, Mattituck, Long Island, vacationing there. My mom was about 15. Her father was taking her into Kramer's drugstore to get a soda, an ice cream soda. She loved ice cream sodas. And take her in. As they crossed the threshold into the drugstore, crossing the threshold on the way out was a man in kind of a raggedy sweater. It was a gray day like this, a raggedy sweater, shorts, sandals. And my grandfather, her father, turned and said, I want you to take a look at that man that just passed by the door, just exited the door as you walked in. He said, that man is going to change the world. He said, that man is going to change the world. And my mom looked at Albert Einstein, that she didn't know was Albert Einstein. I don't think the world quite knew yet that Albert Einstein was the Albert Einstein that he was going to be, that seed of greatness within. And she remembered thinking, I never would, in looking back and telling me this story, when I was 15 going into Kramer's drugstore, she said, I never thought 40 years ago that this man had that greatness in him. The greatness discover that infinite power, that infinite intelligence, the one atom that look at the energy it released and how many atoms do we have in our body that we can release that energy from. She said from his appearance on the outside, I never knew his greatness on the inside. How many of us is that is true? We don't see the greatness of other people because we look at their appearance on the outside. We don't see their divinity because we focus on their humanity. How many of us? Albert Einstein's wife used to get after him for wearing these raggedy old sweaters. She said, you have important people coming into your life. You have presidents coming to our home. You have senators coming to our home. Please, please dress up a little, put on a new sweater. And Albert Einstein said to her, look, if these important people are coming to visit me, bring them to the parlor and I'll meet with them. If they're coming to visit my sweaters, take them to my closet. And this from the man who created atomic energy. I mean, yeah, he didn't care about the outer. He didn't care about the outer. My mom told me when she turned 90, she says, the good thing about turning 90, you don't care about what anybody else thinks. I'm working on that. She said, 90, it's gone. It's gone. Everything changes. I'm changing. The change of time I have left to live my life is less than the time I had left to live my life yesterday, and that's true for all of us. That's true for everyone here. I used to play hard to get with spirituality. I wouldn't go to church. I wouldn't get anywhere near it, anywhere near the name God, anywhere to the name religion, and now I can't get enough of it. I wouldn't get near it, and now I can't get enough of it. And I used to play hard to get with my spirituality, and now it's become a matter of beat the clock. Everything changes. Kids doing classes online, or our grandkids doing classes online. Everything changes. I heard this the other day. I thought it was so cute. A teacher says to one of the students online, where's your homework? And the student, reflection, right? We always come from that reflect, that knee jerk, right? And he goes, oh, I left it at home. And the teacher goes, we're doing online classes. You are at home. So the point of this story is you got to change your narrative if you're going to change the nature of your life. If you're doing classes online, you can't say you left your homework online. It doesn't work. You got to change the nature of your narrative if you're going to change the nature of your life. Kids say the darndest thing, Art Linkletter, and Easter, which came first, the chicken or the egg, the chicken or the egg. And so he's asking these kids, and they say, oh, I think the chicken, I think the egg, and they're just guessing. One kid in the back row, Tommy in the back row, oh, no, I got the answer. And Art goes up to him and says, so which came first, the chicken or the egg? And he says, oh, I got the answer, I got the proof, I got the scientific proof, this is it. And so Tommy goes, the eggs came first, and the chicken came after. And Art Linkletter said, what's your scientific proof? He said, look, we have eggs for breakfast. Breakfast comes first. We have chicken for dinner. Chicken comes last. How can you argue with the logic of a kid? And if you find yourself arguing with the logic of a kid, go take a look in the mirror and see the person you're really arguing with, because it isn't the kid. Easter for me is about changing from the needs of our stories into the planting of the seeds of our glories. This teaching is about moving from needs to seeds, about releasing our needs and renewing our seeds. And so if we can have the next slide. As we release the needs of our stories into the planting the seeds of our glories, sometimes during the change, we feel buried. How many people have just felt buried under the weight of this world? How many people? Somewhere in their life. 4 of us, 5 of us. Let's all go out to lunch and talk about it. Everybody else is healed. Everyone in this, everyone here. Overwhelmed, anxiety, stress, worry. Part of our journey. Part of our journey. But the thing, I love this comes from Joel Osteen. He's a little fundamental, but gosh, he's good. He's good. And Joel Osteen said this the other day. Remember, the good news when all this stuff is falling apart, the good news is you're not buried. You're planted. You're planted. And the seeds you plant will become the life you live. So when you're feeling buried, that seed feels buried in the darkness, in the dirt. It has no idea what it's going to become. But you know, the light of that sun energy also is warmth, right? Light has warmth energy. The warmth of that energy goes through the earth. The light may not make it into the darkness, but the warmth of that goes down there and the seed sprouts. That's his teaching, you know. Yeah, a pine tree, we were up at Idlewild hiking the other day, a pine tree growing out of a rock. I mean, I'm telling you, it was growing out of the center of this rock. It wasn't at the edge of the rock. It was growing out of the center of this rock. How does that happen? Remember, Rock of Ages, cleft for me, let me hide myself in thee. You know, that blade of grass or that dandelion that pushes through the sidewalk, that seed that pushes through the sidewalk, how does it do it? How does the soft and gentle presence push itself through the sidewalk? It has seeds of greatness within it. What is it that Rumi says? Somebody help. Calling on help. What is it you call out for the helpline of the TV shows? You need help, you need a hint. Rumi says, that seeds of greatness. It's in the darkness that we really grow. That's not the quote. Rumi did it better. But in the darkness is where we really grow. So here's an Easter for me is about new beginnings. Yes, new beginnings. And this is from John Donahue. He talks about new beginnings. So let's take a breath. And let's drop from our head into our heart. And that can look like a drizzle of honey from your head, 18 inches into your heart. Follow that drizzle of honey. Follow that drip of rain from your head to your heart. Follow that feeling. Follow that energy. Follow that flow. Follow that flow from your head to your heart. And feel this in your heart. John Donahue says this of New Beginnings. In out-of-the-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. How's that from seed to soil to plant? Waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time, Spirit has watched your desire. Spirit has felt the feeling of the emptiness growing inside you, waiting to be fulfilled. Spirit has noticed how you willed yourself on, still able to leave what you had outgrown. Spirit watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered. Spirit heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent within you. Spirit wondered why you would want to live like this. Then the delight, when your courage kindled and out you stepped into new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you, through you, though your destination is not yet clear, never will be, is my experience, never will be. Let go of it being clear, just let it be present. You can trust the promise of this opening, trust the promise of this opening, trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning. This is that one with your life's desire, the beginning at one with that spark of your life's desire, that flame of your life's desire, that seed of greatness, that seed of greatness within you, that seed of greatness within you. That's what this is all about. Opening and trusting our seeds of greatness. You know, Elton John, and can we have the next slide? And so what we're talking about here is not looking just through the windows of the world, moving beyond the windows of the world alone. And Elton John did this. Elton John did this in his song, Candles in the Wind. He took us beyond the windows of this world into that eternality of life, which is Easter is all about. He wrote it for Marilyn Monroe, who died at 36 in 1962. And Candle in the Wind speaks to our talk theme of seeing beyond the windows of this world from a window of greater glory beyond. Marilyn Monroe said this of her greater glory yet to be. I believe everything happens for a reason. People change so you can let go. Things go wrong so you can appreciate them when they're right. Sometimes good things fall apart so better things can fall together. And isn't that the Easter story? Good things appearing to fall apart and opening up a new awareness, a new seed of greatness within each of us, that in truth, they're always falling together. What a concept. What a consciousness. What a commitment we each choose to make to that awareness today by being here. Angelo said this of the people in our lives who have been a candle in the wind, a candle of love and light and truth. She says they existed. They existed. We can be. We can be. And we can be better because they existed. Williams Wordsmith says this, hence in a season of calm weather, though inland far we be, our souls have sight of the immortal sea. And if we can have the next slide. And the immortal sea that he's talking about, even though we're inland, we can see an immortal sea that's ever present within us, and that's the window of our perception. That immortal sea is the seeing beyond the immortal into the immortality, into the continuity of life. And this is our affirmation for today. My windows of perception create the world as my reflection. And so I invite us to say that together. My windows of perception create the world as my reflection. And once more, my windows of my perception create the world as my reflection. And once more, the windows of my perception create the world of my reflection. And we're going to end with a story that touched my heart. And since we're all one in the heart of God, and so we're all one in heart, I know this story's going to touch your heart. I'm not even going to question it. Opal Lee, founder of Juneteenth, someone who stood up and spoke up and still is standing up and speaking out and reaching out in will for eternity, the founder of June 19th. When she was a young child, her family had moved into a new neighborhood in Texas. They had been living there for about 11 days when a crowd gathered and threw rocks and broke windows and told them to get out, and they, in terror, fled that house. And as she looked back at age 5, 6, 7, her house was in flames. They'd burned her house to the ground. A few years ago in Texas, in a neighborhood just within a few miles of that, the same situation happened. The same situation happened. A family moved in. They're stoned. They burned their house down. And so how do we move from the Easter story of crucifixion, that painful concept of crucifixion, into that plentiful and bountiful and promising concept of resurrection? How do we live that in our life? Opal Lee did. Those seeds of greatness when she was 7 and in fear, those seeds were there. And right now, Habitat for Humanity has bought that lot of the house that she lived in when she 7 was burned down. Habitat for Humanity is gifting her that house. Her cost will be $30 to own that house. And Opal Lee, who kept those seeds of greatness in her alive, who moved from the story of crucifixion into a story of resurrection, who moved from a traditional story into an unlimited story of Easter glory. She'll be moving into her new house and getting the keys on her new house on June 19th. Happy Easter, right? Happy Easter. We live this story. Those seeds of greatness, whatever shows up in our lives, we keep moving, we keep praying, we keep chanting, we keep coming to centers, we keep studying, we keep being. And if we can have the next slide. Oh, that was it. Go back. That was it. That was the one I wanted. Perfect. Very good. Thank you. So Opal Lee moved from her window of the world. She moved beyond her window of perception, and she moved into a window of wonder. O-N-A-D-E-R, a window of wonder. She came to seeing that window of wonder. By changing the window of the story she looked through, she came to change the nature of her whole life throughout. And that's the most excellent Easter story indeed. Pierre Teilhard Chardin says this, there is almost a sensual longing for communion with others that have a larger vision. You want to meet people with a larger vision? Come to one of our board meetings. I love this center from the first minute I went to a board meeting. I don't like board meetings. You don't like board meetings. I loved it because people were talking. I can't even imagine. Well, there's this possibility, and there's this possibility, but it might take a year or two or three, but there's this, and then we can move this wall, and then we can do this, and then we can do that. They're possibility thinkers, but they're not just possibility thinkers, they're possibility co-creators. Because stuff is showing up so fast. I was sitting here 6 weeks ago, sitting here, I think during meditation, I was like, gee, it'd be really nice if we could paint the sanctuary. It dropped in. I didn't go to it, it came to me. And I think within days, we're beginning the painting on the sanctuary tomorrow. You can't make this stuff up. That's how Spirit works. That's the glory of the Easter story. Your thoughts become things really instantaneously. So, boy, move into that Easter glory story. There's almost essential longing for communion with others that have a larger vision. Play with people with a really big vision. We're playing with a really big vision here. Come play with us. Come play with us. We're starting to have a lot of fun. So far, it hasn't fallen apart. We'll see, but so far, so good. The immense fulfillment of the friendships between those engaged in furthering the evolution of consciousness has a quality almost impossible to describe. There's a quality of friendship in this center. There's a quality of fellowship in this center. There's a quality of faith in this center. I'm telling you, I've been around. I've been through different centers. That's impossible to describe. It's impossible to describe. Hang out here. It's a good place to hang out. And so Mahatma Gandhi, and we'll end with this, he says, keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behaviors. Keep your behaviors positive because your behaviors become your habits. Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. How are you going to stand up, show up, and speak up this Easter day and every day? My Easter bunny costume is our front hall closet. I am just devastated that I'm not wearing my Easter bunny costume. But we are running behind, and Ross said, you do not have time to get your Easter bunny costume. I am devastated. But what I was going to do, picture me in a pink bunny suit, full pink bunny suit. And I was going to take 4 or 5 colored eggs, and each given plastic Easter eggs, but eggs, and they're colored. And we're all different colors on the outside. Opal Lee came to realize this, in her life. We're all different colors on the outside, all those colors of eggs, all those colors of our skin. But when you crack those eggs open, we're all the same on the inside. We're all the same on the inside. Happy Easter. Happy Easter. And so ends our talk. So I'm pretty sure I got this. I'm pretty sure that we go to prayer now, yeah? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. There we go. So how do we take this to prayer? How do we take Easter Day to prayer? How do we take our life to prayer? How do we take it to that place where we're not praying the prayer? The prayer is praying us. How do we take it to that place that the prayer is praying us? How do you take it to that place that the prayer is praying you? How do you take it to that place that the prayer is praying you? Because that's Easter prayer. That's Easter prayer. You've given up praying the prayer and you let the prayer pray you. You've given up all of your Easter stories and you let the story of the greatness of that seed of oneness within you become you. That's this teaching. That's the power of prayer. It's the power of the presence. It's the power of the possible. It's the power of all potential. It's the power of becoming. It's the power of becoming the prayer that we pray to be. And as we pray that prayer that we pray to be, we come to see an eternal sea, no matter how far inland we may be. And that eternal sea that we come to see and be is the eternal sea of those seeds of greatness within, which we allow to blossom forth without. And as we allowed our seeds of greatness to open up within and blossom forth without, the world we see before us, that world of consciousness, that world of creativity, that world of compassion, that world of kindness, becomes the world we become to see. And that's an Easter prayer that I let pray me. And I invite you to let it pray you. and pray in that presence of knowing you are the seeds of greatness. Nourish them, feed them, grow them, and embrace that joy as the garden of your life becomes the garden of a life of magnificent possibilities. And together we say, and so it is. This is a song I love, called Beloved Community. And I love this song the way I love this community.
These times are troubling me, so much I can hardly see through the walls that keep us apart. You got your views and I've got mine. We've come together for a moment in time. I hope you hear me with your heart. I'm not trying to push you away, but I got something
Thank you for being here.
I gotta say. I stand for love, I stand for peace, I stand for equality and the good of all. I stand for hope, I stand for faith, I stand for freedom and the good of all. I stand, I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand, I stand, I stand. Could you stand with me? What we don't understand, we turn away instead of realizing there could be a better way. Can we just agree to disagree? We can never see things eye to eye, but we can hold on to the love between you and I. It's the only way we survive. I'm not trying to push you away, but I got something that I've gotta say. I stand for love, I stand for peace, I stand for humanity and the good of all. I stand for hope, I stand for faith, I stand for freedom and the good of all. I stand, I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand, I stand, I stand. Could you stand with me? I stand for faith, I stand for justice, I stand for equality and the good of all. I stand for light, I stand for justice, I stand for compassion and the good of all. I stand, I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand, I stand, I stand. Could you stand with me? Could you stand with me? Could you stand with me? Could you stand with me?
So that was not Our Beloved Community, which is one of my favorite songs, but that was perfect. Adrian put that one in today, and that one was perfect and worked well. And so I invite you to stand with me in holding in consciousness that Gary Lynn Floyd will be here and do a concert for us sometime this year. So that's it. So now we're going to do our offering. And so if you'll read this with me, I give and receive freely. And if the ushers will come forward with an open heart and an open mind, the universe responds to me in kind. I know that my beloved community is richly blessed, and so it is. And you can text to give, 951-420-6909 if you're online. We'd love your support. Again, text to give, 951-420-6909, or you can go to cslbeaumont.org, and you can contribute that way.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so
So knowing we're all grateful for this community, grateful for the growth of this community, which is experiencing, grateful for the growth we're experiencing. And so I invite all of you to stay. We have a full Easter lunch. We have roast beef and ham and turkey and all kinds of sides. So to stay for lunch, we'd love to have you and commune with you for lunch. If you'd like prayer afterwards, our prayer practitioners, and I'll be over here on this side of the sanctuary for a couple of prayers. If you want some prayer work, don't leave here with anything heavy on your heart today. And right now, I believe it's time that we circle up and do our closing song. So if you're comfortable holding hands, if you're not, you can just do an elbow bump, or if you want to remain seated, but we'd love you to join our circle. Oh, and we're having champagne. There's some champagne back there.
And this is going to
Champagne.
This is going to be a high energetic closing song too. So let's get to it.
Let's skip this song and just go for the food. No, just kidding. Everybody, get up on your feet. Whoa. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Oh, all right. All right.
Have our Easter parade because I'm the only one who had.
Oh, we didn't have an Easter parade. We'll do it next year. We'll do it next Sunday. We'll do an Easter parade. So